already know what time it is. It's your boy DJ Richie Skye back with some tea, interviews, recaps, and more. And be sure to check the links in the description of this video for trips, for books, one-on-one sessions, and more. Now let's get into the tea. Y'all, I just want somebody to tell me what in the world Nene's nose did to Amanda Seales. Somebody tell me in the chatterization what happened. Okay, what happened? When did it happen? Why are they fighting? I mean, it is Amanda Seales dragging Nene's nose, literally, and a little bit of her jaw. Okay, so we'll get into it. You know, Amanda says with love. Oh, we're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about the episode of Real Housewives of Potomac last night and a little bit of a rumor that Andy had to dispel last night on Watch What Happens Live about Mia. So we'll get into all of that. But first things first, we got some skincare things to talk about. Okay, a couple of things. Not only dealing with Nene Leakes and Amanda Seales, but Brandi Glanville. So let's get into it. First things first. All right. So again, I don't know what happened necessarily. All I know is shout out to the Neighborhood Talk for capturing this, and also shout out to Live Bites on Instagram, because this was a reshare from Live Bites, who happened to catch both of these instances, right? So Nene had been responding to people who have been criticizing her or asking her about her face, right? Because, you know, Nene has been doing a lot of photo shoots these days. And if you notice, so have the ladies of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, the new ladies, right? But that's what you should be doing, all right? When you're starting a new business endeavor, you know, just coming from somebody who works in marketing and PR, you should always be posting content of yourself as your highest version of yourself, so people can see, you know, where you are in this era of your life. So whatever Nene's doing, I thoroughly enjoy it. I'm like, girl, get out there, be on the scene, let people see you. But, you know, the people have been asking about her nose. So here is what she had to say about that. All right.
Be tripping. What happened to your face? What happened to yours? What happened to my face? Happy Thanksgiving. What happened to your face? Like, get into it. Nothing, okay?
She says nothing has happened to her face. Nothing has happened to her nose. Not a thing.
Forehead is very wrinkled. Let's be clear. Why they claim Botox?
They think a face. They think
crow's feet.
You know, maybe I don't see the crow's feet, you know, because she got on makeup. Maybe I don't see the forehead wrinkles because clearly mine are extensive. This needs Botox. This is in need of the Botox, okay? I crack up every time Nene laugh. I don't know why.
I need something to happen. Okay, ain't a thing going on over here. Just a contour nose, honey. It ain't a pinch nose. You don't see the contour? You don't see the brown contour like that right there? You don't see the highlight there? You don't see the highlight right there? You don't see it? You don't see it? Get into it.
So, you know, for me, my thought is always like, you know, I always think when I had to do TV every day, of course, you know, even as a guy, you're putting on makeup. So you look at like your face is not distracting. The things that are wrong with your face aren't so distracting. And so I always used to think, dang, like, why can't I look like this every day? Why can't I just look like this walking around, right? And so you kind of get used to that. And then when you take it off, you're like, dang, that's what I really look like? Ugh. And so for me, it's an interesting dynamic, you know, especially for people who wear makeup all the time, like how they can you know, contour their features and stuff like that and make them look better, or not really better, but more aesthetically appealing to them, right? So Amanda Seals, you know, had a response to it. Now, if you guys don't know how I do things on this channel, when I play things that feature content from someplace else, Amanda Seals is really great at monetizing her platform. So I do have to sort of do reactive type watching for this. So we'll talk, we'll play a little, talk a little, play a little, talk a little, because it has to be different, right? This is what she had to say about Nene's nose.
Nene leaks. Nene leaks. Now, let me just tell y'all something. I don't really have a lot of energy to talk about stuff like this, but I can't.
I'm trying to prepare y'all.
Ain't stand lies. Ma'am, you done cut all the mess out of your nose.
Not all of it. Not all of it. Amanda.
Quit lying to us. And more importantly, to yourself. Like,
do you think that Nene is lying to us? We know that she had the nose job back in the day, but do we think that it has been more and more and more since then? Like, and it's not just the contour. Those of you who wear makeup will on a day-to-day basis will probably know this better than others. Those of you who work in the beauty aesthetics, you know, industry probably know this better. Those of you guys in the medical industry will probably know this better.
I don't even understand this. She always says that she just has superb makeup. Makeup doesn't shave a jaw.
Is that a thing? Can we get our jaw shaved? Can we do that? Listen, let me tell you something. This beard is like the best weave. Okay, it's like a wig for men, right? I could be honest about that. A beard is a good old wig for men. I mean, it's natural though, but you know, if you don't have, because you know, the thing right now is, and I think it has always been the case, is a square jaw for men. Because trust and believe, if I cut this beard off, I can't even stay. Like my jawline is like, oh, I'm gonna have to go get somebody to put something in it or something like that. When I shave this thing down, that'll be the day y'all see the new chisel chin, okay, the new chisel face, and I don't care, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that much about plastic surgery, but
me neither, bro.
I don't believe her.
Well, I know enough to know what I want.
I don't believe that's makeup. So yeah.
I want her to just own that she wanted to do this to herself. Like,
does Nene owe us that though? That's the other thing. Does Nene owe us that explanation? I mean, because she could also just ignore it and never say a word about it. Like, whatever I'm doing to my face is my business.
If that's what it is, that's what it is. You got new eyelids, sis.
Not entirely new eyelid. You know, they do a procedure called blepharoplasty or something like that, where they do something to your eyelid to take away the overhang or the underhang.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Her nose is on a path of self-destruction.
Self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction.
Ready to party.
She said the nose was funky, fresh, dressed, and ready to party. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I am leaving.
Yeah.
And we love a glow up. We do. However,
she goes on to state that, you know, we love Nene and we love the glow up, but she also talks about Nene being very realistic and open and honest about what it is that she's doing, not necessarily with us, but to herself. And she references body dysmorphia in that conversation. Do you guys think that maybe that Nene has body dysmorphia, or do you think that she just, this is my thing, and I'm gonna just be very honest with y'all. I say, do what it's your body. Okay. Do as you please, to look as you please, because only you have to be pleased with yourself at the end of the day. When you get at home at night and you go into that bathroom to brush your teeth and floss your teeth and take off your makeup or whatever you do at the end of your night, and you look in that mirror and you like what you see, and you done have 15 surgeries to get there, fine. It's fine with me, baby. It is fine with me. Do as you please. YOLO. You only get one life to live. And my thought is live it. But the question is, does Nene owe us her truth? I mean, she could just not speak on it. And then that way you avoid it altogether. And people can just be feel free to speculate, because they're going to speculate anyway. That's what I think. That's what I think. Now, another Bravo celebrity is claiming that Bravo is, well, let me say alleged, because the claim sounds alleged. I mean, the claim is alleged. I need to make this bigger so you guys can take a closer look. But it says the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills alum Brandi Glanville blames Bravo for her face disfigurement following the legal drama with the network. Okay, so you guys know that Brandi Glanville is named in a lawsuit by Carolyn Manzo against Bravo, NBC Universal, and a ton of the entities, right? For whatever happened on the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, season 4 in Morocco. Now, was it season 4? Yeah, it was season 4. I think, no, was it season 3 or season 4? I honestly can't remember at this point. It probably says so right here on the thing on the Jasmine brand, but whatever. So Brandi is basically saying this. What happened? I wish I knew. I've been in and out of the hospital this past year and a half, spent almost every dollar I have trying to figure it out. Some doctors say I have a parasite that jumps around my face. I know not what a parasite is that jumps around the face. I've never heard of that. So, but I'm not a doctor. So she says some doctors say I have a parasite that jumps around my face. Some say it's stress-induced edema. I personally say it's Bravo. All right. Y'all know that the allegation is that Brandi held Caroline Manzo hostage in a hotel in Morocco for days after her co-star. It's not fun. That is not funny. It just, when you read it, it's like, wait, what? No, not Brandi held her. She alleged that production held her hostage in a hotel in Morocco for days. Disclaimer, clarification right there. That production held her hostage in a hotel in Morocco for days after her co-star. Oh, no. This is what Brandi is claiming. Brandi claims that she was held hostage in a hotel in Morocco for days after Carolyn Manzo accused her of unwanted kisses, for which eventually escalated into legal battle involving Bravo. Brandi has previously claimed that the controversy led to her being canceled from all jobs due to the bad, untrue press. Is this Bravo's fault? Shout out to House of Aaron for the contributions to that story. We love House of Aaron over here, as well as the Jasmine brand. Is Bravo to blame for Brandi and her skin condition and the parasite that is jumping across the face? I don't know. You let us know in the comment section down below. I just figured that these two stories, I felt like, since they did involve the face, that we would put them together. Now let's face what we had to talk about from last night on Real Housewives of Potomac. I'm just going to be very honest with you guys. Last night's show, I watched it, but I think I watched it with mild curiosity. You know, I think what is happening here is we have kind of gone back to the days of, you know, when Housewives was just sometimes very just random episodes of things happening and put together, and, you know, and sometimes for a lot of people, that's really, really nice. There was nothing particularly exciting about it to me. But I did think that I have to credit production to also wanting to balance the drama with what's actually happening in the women's lives and focusing on story and putting that first. I have to give them credit. Does that always make for a exciting show? No, but sometimes, especially in these days, we just want to watch something that just feels good with people that we're familiar with. And that's what they gave us last night. So I'm not going to rate it low because I felt like I was bored. I'm going to rate it an 8 because I did feel like there was an attempt to bring a level of normalcy back into a franchise that had felt like it had gone in such a dismal direction the year before. So because of the attempt, I give it an 8. And we do have a couple of things to talk about. But to me, the more interesting drama came from last night's Watch What Happens Live. Giselle was a guest on the show, and she was told she had to ask Andy about a rumor that she heard from her glam team that Mia was going to Love and Hip Hop. I was surprised they left this in the show, to be quite honest. Like, even the mere reference to a show on another network, they usually don't do that on Bravo, like, unless the guest is from that particular network or show. But you don't typically see any people from Love and Hip Hop on Watch What Happens Live. You just don't. I mean, if you really think about it, you don't really see a lot of people from VH1 shows on Watch What Happens Live, period. To be honest with you. Now that I think about it. Anyway, so she said she heard that Mia was moving to Love and Hip Hop. Now, I don't know if that was strategic on Giselle's part, but the fact that she brought it up, I was like, oh, is that the tea? Because I know a lot of y'all been saying that y'all felt like this storyline felt more like something on Love and Hip Hop. I've seen that in the comments, right? So, and because Ink he's based in Atlanta, if I'm correct. So I'm sure there's probably been some question as to whether or not Mia would eventually move to Atlanta. But then, in my question would be, would they want to move her to Real Housewives of Atlanta, or just let her go altogether, or she just leave altogether? What will be the case, right? That's yet to be seen. But Andy was like, no, as far as I know, like she's on Bravo. She is on Bravo. So Andy was quick to squash that rumor, which I just thought it was so interesting that they left it in the show. She says that Mia will have the most to answer for at the reunion. When asked about who says the most shocking thing this season, she says it's Mia, if you can believe her lies. She does let us know that what Mia brought up last week about the Ring camera at her home does come back up, and they do discuss it in an upcoming episode. And she says that Mia is dead to her. Interestingly enough, I thought this was wild when Andy asked the question about whether or not how good it felt to be on good terms with Wendy. And Giselle kind of a little stumbled through her responses. You could see that she was trying to be positive about it. And Andy said, it must be in a good space. It must feel good to be able to walk into a space and be able to embrace everyone in the room. And Giselle said, no, it's not. And I think Andy looked at her like, and I'm paraphrasing what she said, but basically she disagreed. Like, what I got from that is I hold a grudge and leave you way over there. I don't mind it. I like it. That's kind of how it felt. It was very interesting. You know, Giselle is a captivating guest because she gives you, she's gonna give you some responses now. Like, I mean, and it was so interesting because they weren't always, I think, what Andy anticipated her to say. She does say that there are some, she calls Karen the biggest liar in the group. And when asked, there was something that was asked about someone in the group she says something about Wendy being unable to take criticism about herself because she likes to present a certain image. So that I found more, like, to me, Watch What Happens Live with Giselle was a bit more interesting than the show itself. But let's get into the show and we'll talk a bit about it, because I am going to be able to easily move through this, right? I spend more time talking about Nene and her nose and Amanda Seales than I am going to do the show. That may give you a bit of intel about how the show went for me last night. The episode is appropriately titled Love in the Fast Lane. Giselle joins Ashley to play the field and find new love, which to me makes me wonder if this episode is what inspired the Love Hotel show that Ashley and Giselle are doing with Countess Luann and Shannon Bedore, Shannon Storms Bedore, Shannon from OC, I think it was in Mexico. They already filmed it. And I have to wonder if this speed dating idea came from that. And I wonder whose idea it was. Was it Giselle and Ashley that produced this idea? Because if so, that's dope to me. I mean, if you really think about it. And I thought that it was something that we really don't see a lot of on these types of shows, like a speed dating type situation with just the two of them. And it really just centered on the two of them. So I thought that was fascinating. Karen and Ray addressed the work needed to repair their institution. Well, I'll just talk about these situations as we look at the description. It's episode 10 of season 9. You know, with the dating speed dating situation, it's basically just Giselle and Ashley, you know, and a whole bunch of dudes running through, you know, and to see who's a match. Giselle's best match was a man named Namzis. I think that was his name. I cannot recall correctly. And if I'm saying it incorrectly, please charge that to my mind and not to my heart. Okay. Ashley matched with a guy with a big curly bush of a hair. And they actually went on a date, which was also interesting. And he had a very interesting backstory, which I thought was pretty interesting because, you know, he had a cancer, like I think he had thyroid cancer at the age of 28, which was like, you know, kind of like just eye-opening. And you could tell they had like chemistry and whatever. And I liked his confidence. You know, I also think that this is probably one of Ashley's best confessional looks in this fur. So I did like that. They kissed, you know, it was nice. I mean, seeing Ashley in the less messy light to me is more interesting than seeing her intentionally be messy and then deflecting from it, to be quite honest. Giselle and her date, I could tell that she was kind of feeling him a little bit, or at least attempting to feel him. So we'll see where that goes. But we also know that they have that Love Hotel show. So Giselle did say that someone from the dating game from last night's episode is still around in her life. So I don't know if she found love on the dating show or if she is with this new guy. I don't know what's going on. Karen and Ray addressed the work needed to repair their institution. This scene to me just seemed to go a little bit deeper into Karen's mental state the night of her accident. The night of the incident where she has all of the citations. She talks about being in an emotional state because of their marriage. We always get hints at their marital problems, but we never really see them in the midst of the problem, right? So what I'm saying is we always kind of hear them speak about it. I think the time that was probably the most critical or hard to watch was the scene where the therapist, and they flash back to this often, asked Ray if he was still in love with Karen. And he was like, I think so, or something like that. That probably is hard to hear and relive. But I think after you've been married for 28 years, or I think that's how long they've been married, I just, you know, it's a credit to them to still be together, because there is a lot of work when you put two people together, and two people have to learn how to grow and learn and listen to each other and figure things out and work through things, and, you know, to continue on. So I give them props for that. But, you know, she goes into her emotional state about their marriage. being a catalyst for her feelings that night as well. So maybe it was her feelings over her, you know, I think she had referenced at some point, you know, grief, marital stuff. I mean, honestly, I will be for real with you. That type of stuff, it can, I mean, it can stress you out. Listen, it can stress you out. So, you know, the more I think she's able to open up about it, I think the more people will be able to get a better understanding of where she was. And I don't think that the ladies group roundtable is going to be the place where she ever does that. So having a scene with her talking to Ray about it are probably going to be the scenes that are most impactful for us to piece together what was going on with Karen that night. TJ confronts Stacey about the state of their relationship. You know, TJ makes her some type of frozen pizza, runs around in a bonnet, and tries to impress upon her his disdain for the way that she just left him there. The camera continues to show him saying to her, "You go do your thing," seemingly understanding that he knows that she's filming a show and talking with Ray. And so, you know, Stacey has to do what she has to do on the show. Giselle also states in the Watch What Happens Live episode that we are going to, at some point in time, see, probably in her second season, that Stacey is not the airhead that she pretends to be. I thought that was interesting. Do I think that Stacey comes off as an airhead? No. But I do think that she comes across as someone, but I think that something happens later on this season that proves that point. I think that Stacey comes across like she's just trying to figure things out. Last night's conversation with TJ was very much him impressing upon her how he felt alienated that night, and he didn't apologize for the way he spoke to her, but he demanded her. I mean, she profusely had to apologize to him as he stomped around her crash pad, making her pizza and some type of old-fashioned squeeze juice. I don't know what that was, to be honest with you. I think I had those things when I was a kid. So anyway, you know, she refrains from really getting into details with him about her divorce, which is smart, considering she's not yet out of the marriage and it doesn't involve him. And, you know, what Stacey is asking him without directly asking is, can you please show me some more affection? You know, I know that we are in this space on television where we kind of have to keep our relationship PC. But at the same time, I still need to feel that you desire me. And she goes on to tell him that the ladies think that she should take some time between one relationship and another. And he's like, well, then I would be doing the same. And so she asked, what does that mean? And he's like, well, I'm not going to be sleeping with anybody until I know that this is the person that I'm going to just be with. And I think TJ came across a little less, I don't know, this conversation felt a little bit more productive in the sense that she laid it out for him. What if I were to see other people? And I think the reason why she would want to do that is because she really just wants to hear him say, like, I'm really into you. I really want to be with you. Because otherwise, it just reminds you, I don't know if y'all have ever seen this show called Chewing Gum. It has Michaela Cole in it. And there is a guy that looks just like TJ on it. And Michaela Cole's character in Chewing Gum, I cannot remember her name. I love this show. But look it up. In the very first episode, she's been with this guy for a minute, okay? He is not into her at all. He claimed he is just into the church and the prayers and all of that. And he really honestly can't stand the girl. And I don't know why he would have. But it doesn't take her long to figure it out. But what I'm saying is that just like us who are watching the show, it seems like Stacey is feeling the same thing that we are feeling, that he's just not that into her. And I think what she wants is to know, like, hey, I'm into you. But what he does instead is he says, well, you know, you need to make sure that you're good first. And then, you know, we'll figure we'll figure it out. But if you date other people, then I will too. And I think that's just where they left it. To be quite honest with you, Stacey, I'm like, girl, just forget about this situation, because I don't know what it is that you see in him that maybe we don't see. But based on the way he spoke to you, and then based on the way he's been treating you outside of this conversation, I would just say you can probably find something better, and maybe you do need some time between your divorce and your next relationship. That's just it for me. Wendy braces for a tough conversation with her mother. This is really about Wendy meeting up with her sister Ivy to tell her mother that she is no longer that she quit her job as a professor. You know, Wendy's mom, you know, has a reaction, you know, and they get through it. I mean, there's really, to me, it was a good, I guess it was a good follow-up, but I would have thought she would have been told her, because that happened so many episodes ago, I kind of feel like, and we've seen her interact with her mother since then. So I didn't understand the delay. But whatever the case, maybe she was just waiting for the right time, and this was the right time. So she tells her. Mia and Gordon. Now, this was probably the most intriguing scene of the episode to me. Before I get there, we do have a conversation between Giselle and her girls about her dad's will. Apparently somebody has changed the will in between, like the I guess in that critical 2-day period where he went to the hospital and he unfortunately passed. And so to me, when you hear about these things happen to people and she has to explain it to her daughters, and it is also now making her think about how Jamal is now getting married, but he set everything up for his girls in a trust, which Giselle could also just do the same if she moves on into a new relationship. But it does make me wonder, like, I hear about these things a lot, and it's just so disturbing when I hear that someone potentially takes advantage of a person who is in a dire state in their end of life stage, and then changes something so that it isolates the family and it takes them out of the will. It's just bothersome to me. So I do feel for her on that. She's apparently still in litigation on that whole situation. That's what we learn on Watch What Happens Live. So we'll have to find out how that plays out, maybe at the reunion. Mia and Gordon discuss their decision to divorce, and the conversation takes a surprising turn. Much of this conversation happens in front of the kids, just to be quite honest with you. Mia is baking cookies with the kids. Gordon stops by. I can't recall if he needed something or he just wanted to stop by. But before that happened, this was another intriguing scene. Mia and Kiana met up for lunch or something of the sort, which was interesting because, you know, we did see them going at it earlier this season. And what Mia realized is when the girls were coming at her, asking her questions about her inconsistent story, then post about Gordon, and not understanding the continuous up and down that she is allegedly dealing with, you know, it was Kiana that accurately, I think most accurately, explained it to the ladies. And so Kiana, who is coming from work because, you know, her husband works in that sort of space dealing with social work, mental health, and that sort of thing, was probably the most, it probably would have been even more beneficial to bring Mia into the office and Gordon into the office. And maybe that will happen at some point. But she is able to really try to help Mia navigate what's going on, and really just advocates for Mia keeping Ink and Gordon separate and setting up some boundaries for herself and with Gordon as well, because it's probably triggering for Gordon to have to be around Ink and this happy tribe that Mia is trying her hardest to get to coexist. And it's just like, girl, it's just not gonna work. It's really not. I don't think it would work in a situation where a person did not suffer from any sort of bipolar disorder, and I just don't think it would work. And why would they want it to work? And there's obviously some still wanting of Mia there, and so it's got to be difficult for Gordon to continue to see and have to be around this man who has now taken his place, who has once been there, and I'm sure it's triggering, especially as Kiana explains it. So when we see the conversation happen with Mia later, and we hear the conversation that they're having with their kids about divorce and marriage and what divorce looks like, and the kids don't really understand, and her daughter basically says, "You can't marry Mr. Inc." This is an area that I don't really know how to navigate, but as a viewer, it feels as though they are going to have some tough conversations. And it also feels as though maybe there needs to be a bit of separation and boundaries put into place for Mia's interactions with Inc. and how it's done with the kids, and Mia's interactions with Gordon and how that is done with the kids, and some therapy. Yeah. Simply because there's a lot of complexity here that is, as an adult who is watching the show, difficult for me to navigate. So I can only imagine the difficulty that the kids may have. And I think that's just the truth. That's just the truth. So I think that there needs to be some therapy all around to help them navigate, set boundaries, and then move forward after they've had that appropriate level of counseling. Because I think that's what it's going to take to mitigate this situation and for them to really understand what they should be doing going forward. Because this is beyond me. This is over my head. So that's what I would say in my situation, like in my humble opinion. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. And of course, I will catch you guys in the next video. Now that you've watched today's video, let's get into this group trip to Cape Town, South Africa. Yes, y'all, Skye Squad, we are hitting South Africa, and we are hitting it hard. April 10th through the 17th of 2025. You can click the link in the description of this video to get more information and to reserve your spot. Now, we're going to keep this intimate because we have a lot to do. We are going to be looking at real estate. We're going to be learning about retirement and permanent visas, dual citizenship, buying and purchasing land. We are going to be looking at it all because we want options in South Africa, baby. And listen, Cape Town is one of my favorite cities. So of course, we're going to be doing some of my favorite things. We are going to be hitting the wineries. We are going on a safari. We're going to Table Mountain. We're going to some of my favorite restaurants. Let me tell you, one of them is Gold Star, baby. If you know, you know. We're going to be meeting with some expats who have relocated from the United States to Cape Town as well. This is going to be a luxury experience, okay? So we're talking doing the absolute most. So if you've ever wanted to go to Cape Town, South Africa, but maybe you didn't have the group to go with, maybe you just didn't have the right people that wanted to go and experience it with you, this is an opportunity for you to come with us. Now, I only have about 10 to 12 spots available. Yes, because again, I'm trying to keep this thing intimate, and I know that what type of experience I want it to be. So get in while you can, y'all. Trust me, in 2025, we are going to be needing all the options that we can get. And I am going to do my utmost to bring us the most that we can possibly get in and out of the country. So come with me to South Africa. The group trip is going to be lit April 10th through the 17th. Go ahead and click the link in this description of this video so that you can reserve your spot today. Cape Town, South Africa awaits.